students, in this video I am doing a sum on midpoint theorem, exercise 11a, sum number 10. So you are asked that parallelogram ABCD has a P as the midpoint of the side BC and Q a point on AC. Q is just a point on AC such that CQ is 1/4 of AC. PQ produced BC at R. So PQ is produced to meet BC at R. I have to prove that R is the midpoint of BC. And then I have to prove that PR is half of BD. Now I have been given that CQ is 1/4 of AC. So if I shift the 4 here, I get AC as 4CQ. I keep this aside. Now I have connected the diagonal BD and the diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. So I've labeled that point as T. So I get CT is equal to AT because diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Now CT is half of AC because T is the midpoint, so CT becomes half of AC. At AC, I substituted 4CQ. So I got a relationship between CT and CQ that CT is twice CQ, means Q becomes the midpoint of C and T. So I got CQ as 1/4 of AC and I got CT as half of AC. So therefore Q becomes the midpoint of C and T. Now let's start our proving in triangle DCT. In triangle DCT, we have P as the midpoint, so we have DP is equal to CP. I have been given, and I just proved Q as the midpoint of CT, so I have CQ is equal to QT, proved earlier, and therefore PQ will be half of DT and PQ will be parallel to DT by midpoint theorem. Now if PQ is parallel to DT, that means QR is also parallel to BT. We go into the other triangle, which is triangle QBT. Now in triangle QBT, we will go in triangle CBT. So in triangle CBT, I have Q as the midpoint, CQ is equal to TQ. We have proved it. And I just proved that QR is parallel to BT. QR is parallel to BT because if PQ is parallel to TD, so QR is an extension, so QR also becomes parallel to BT. And therefore by converse, we get R as the midpoint. CR is equal to BR by converse of midpoint theorem. So I have proved that R is the midpoint of BC. Now once I have proved R as the midpoint of BC, in triangle CDP, my final proving in triangle CDB, P and R are midpoints, so PR will become half of BD by midpoint theorem. I know that P is the midpoint, it's given to me, and I just proved R is the midpoint. So therefore PR is the line joining the midpoint. So by midpoint theorem, PR becomes half of BD. So let's just brief it up. I have been first given CQ is 1/4 of AC and I proved CT is half of AC. So I get Q is the midpoint of C and T. So I get CQ is equal to TQ. Now first we will go in this triangle. P is the midpoint, Q is the midpoint. So PQ becomes parallel to TD and PQ is half of TD by midpoint theorem. So I got my first proving over here. Once I prove this part parallel, I go in the other half of the triangle, which is my BCT. I have Q as the midpoint and I have these two lines parallel. So therefore by converse of midpoint theorem, I get R as the midpoint of the side BC. And hence proved. PR becomes half of BD because of midpoint theorem.